At the onset of meiosis, DNA strands thicken into chromosomes. Homologous or like chromosomes begin to approach each other. Homologous chromosomes pair to form bivalents. The centrioles divide and move to opposite poles of the cell. Bivalents duplicate to form terads or four chromatid groups. The nuclear membrane disintegrates, crossing over. Recombination occurs. In metaphase 1, the terads attached to spindle fibers at their centriomes line up at mid-cell. In early anaphase 1, the terads separate and paired chromatids move along the spindle of their respective centrioles. In late anaphase 1, the chromatids have almost reached the spindle poles. The cell membranes begin to constrict. In telophase 1, nuclear membranes enclose the separated chromatids. The cell membrane completes its constriction. The first meiotic division ends. There are now two cells, each with the same number of chromatids as the parent cell has. Prophase 2 begins. In the second meiotic division, homologous chromatids do not duplicate but merely separate. In metaphase 2, the chromatids line up at mid-cell. The centrioles and asters are at the poles. A spindle has formed. In anaphase 2, the now separated chromatids approach their respective poles. The cell membrane begins to constrict. Telophase 2 has been completed. There are now four cells, each with half the number of chromosomes as the parent cell has. Interphase, also G2, has the centrioles, which are the light blue. Early prophase is occurring in the cell, and spindle fibers have occurred, which are the light blue. Late prophase is now occurring in the cell. The sister chromatids have appeared, which are in the red, and the kinetochore are which the blue. Metaphase is now occurring in the cell. Anaphase is now occurring in the cell, and the cleavage furrow, which is the middle between the two cells, is now formed. Telophase is occurring in the cell, and the cell is slowly starting to rip apart until it becomes two separate cells. Interphase, or G1, has now occurred to where the one cell has separated into two separate cells. First phase of mitosis is prophase. Centrioles provide move apart as well as the nuclear membrane disintegrates in prophase. The last phases are metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. In metaphase, the chromosomes and their centromeres duplicate and line up in the middle of the cell. The chromosomes in metaphase are also attached to the spindle fibers. In anaphase, the centromeres split and attach to the chromosomes. Once the centromeres have split, the chromosomes move to opposite sides of the poles of the cell. Telophase is where the nuclear membrane is then developed on the two separate cells that have finally pulled apart and have become two separate identical cells.